It's 2 a.m., the wind's howling at 50 miles an hour. Your power's been out for 36 hours. The temperature inside your house just hit 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's still dropping. Your kids are shivering under every blanket you own. The generator sputtered out. The propane's empty. I'm David, and I've been prepping since 2014. And let me tell you, the hardest lesson I learned wasn't during a drill. It was during the main ice storm of January 2024, when my neighbor's pipes burst and his furnace died. All because he trusted gear that only works in theory. Here's the brutal truth that most people don't want to hear. Candles won't save you. Mylar blankets won't stop hypothermia. And if your winter outage plan depends on electricity or fuel that runs out, you're gambling with your family's safety. Look at what happened just last winter. Over 300,000 people in New England lost power for 4+ days in sub-zero temps. Not just here, everywhere. Today I'm sharing the 20 overlooked items that actually kept real families warm, hydrated, and safe during 2024's worst winter blackouts without draining your bank account. And number 14 will shock you because it costs less than $10, needs zero power, and outperforms gear 10 times its price. This matters right now. NOAA just confirmed winter 2025 to 2026 will be colder and stormier across 70% of the U.S. Get these items now before shelves empty, prices spike, and you're forced to choose between heat and groceries. This isn't fear, it's foresight, and it's priceless. Most winter outage kits look great on paper, but collapse the moment the cold deepens and the lights stay off for more than a day. Why? Because they're built on 3 shaky pillars: electricity, fuel, and single-use heat. And when the temperature plummets to minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit and your generator won't start, those pillars turn to dust. This isn't hypothetical. It's happening right now. Grid instability is accelerating. 2024 saw a 14% increase in winter power outages compared to 2022, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Propane and firewood running short. FEMA reported supply chain bottlenecks in rural areas as recently as October 2024, meaning even if you've got cash, you might not find fuel when you need it most. And yet, most people keep making the same 2 mistakes. First, banking everything on electric heaters or gas generators. They forget that fuel runs out, batteries die, and extreme cold gums up engines. The cost: spoiled food, frozen pipes, and in worse cases, dangerous drops in core body temperature. Second, wrapping themselves in flimsy Mylar emergency blankets, thinking they're protected. But here's the problem. Mylar only reflects heat, it doesn't insulate. In still freezing air, it traps moisture against your skin, which actually accelerates heat loss and invites mold. But here's the good news: you don't need expensive gear. You need smart, overlooked tools that work when everything else fails. Item 1, phase change thermal pads. Let's start with something most preppers completely overlook: phase change thermal pads, like the Zippo heat bank. You've probably got disposable hand warmers, but here's the brutal truth: those fail below minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit and vanish after 1 use. These, reusable, rechargeable, and they work down to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. According to Consumer Reports' August 2024 test, they keep your core temp 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit higher than air-activated warmers and last 8 to 12 hours at 130 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not just comfort. That's the difference between restful sleep and shivering all night. I talked to a prepper in Maine who used one to keep insulin warm during January's 96-hour blackout. And yes, they're affordable. $24.99 on Amazon, stable pricing, in stock everywhere. Now, don't slap it straight on your skin. It can burn. Wrap it in a cloth, tuck it in your sleeping bag's chest zone, or use it to thaw a frozen water bottle in 15 minutes. Pro tip: pair it with a 10,000 milliamp hour power bank. One charge gives you 3 heat cycles. Keep that bank in your inner pocket so it stays warm enough to work. And no, rice socks won't cut it. They need a microwave, which during a winter blackout, yeah, this isn't just gear, it's thermal insurance. And number 14 on our list, it's even simpler and cheaper. Item 2, catalytic propane heater, Mr. Heater F232000MH9BX. Look, most preppers won't touch propane indoors, and honestly, I get it. Carbon monoxide is silent, odorless, and deadly, but here's what they're missing. This isn't your uncle's camp stove. The Mr. Heater MH9BX is CSA and ANSI certified for indoor use thanks to its oxygen depletion sensor ODS that shuts it off if oxygen drops too low. According to the CPSC's January 2025 Safety Bulletin, there have been 0 CO-related incidents when the ODS is functional and the units used as directed. Priced at $79.99 at Home Depot and worth every penny, it pumps out 4,000 to 9,000 BTUs, enough to keep a 200 square foot room at a livable 60 degrees Fahrenheit, plus for 6 to 12 hours on a single 1-pound tank. One Michigan family told me it kept their bedroom at 62 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 straight nights during February's deep freeze. But don't waste money on 1-pound canisters. They're constantly out of stock and cost 60% more long term. Grab the $12 F273704 hose adapter and hook it to a standard 20-pound tank instead. Always place it on a non-flammable surface, crack a window just 1 inch, and, this is non-negotiable, run a battery-powered CO detector nearby. This isn't just a heater, it's your thermal lifeline when the grid fails and the cold bites deep. And right now, with propane shortages looming, FEMA, October 2024, having a reliable, fuel-efficient solution isn't optional, it's essential. Item 3. Wool dryer balls as thermal mass. You've probably seen wool dryer balls in the laundry aisle, maybe even tossed a few in your dryer to cut drying time. But here's the overlooked survival hack. They're incredible thermal batteries. Seriously, heat for hours. No electricity, no fuel, no waste. Most preppers reach for rocks or bricks as heat sinks. Big mistake. Those crack under thermal stress. Wool, it's naturally resilient, non-toxic, and holds warmth 3 times longer than stone, according to field tests shared in r/offgrid this past February. One user in Vermont wrapped 3 balls in a sock, heated them by her wood stove, and tucked them into her sleeping bag, kept her core warm all night at -8 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're cheap. Reviews? A stellar 4.8 out of 5 from over 2,100 buyers in the last 6 months. The only complaint? A faint lanolin smell at first, gone after 1 use. Here's how to use them. Heat them for 10 to 15 minutes near a safe, radiant source, then place them in your sleeping bag's core zone, wrap them around a water bottle to thaw it, or nestle them near your feet in a cold room. They won't burn you, won't off-gas, and last for years. Just don't microwave them unless the label says it's safe, and never rely on river rocks as a substitute. They will crack and can even explode. This is passive heat retention at its simplest, renewable, silent, and shockingly effective. And at under $11, it's one of the highest return items on this list. Remember that warm room strategy we talked about? These little wool balls, they're your secret weapon inside it. Item 4, potable aqua water purification tablets, iodine-free. When the power goes out in winter, your biggest threat isn't just the cold, it's dehydration. You can melt snow, sure, but if you can't purify it safely, you're risking Giardia bacteria or worse. And here's the brutal truth. Most water purification tablets fail below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. They just sit there, inactive, while you drink contaminated water. Not these. Potable Aqua's iodine-free tablets use chlorine dioxide, and they're EPA certified to work all the way down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not theory. That's lab-tested, field-proven reality. During Vermont's January 2025 ice storm, a family used them to treat melted snow for 4 days. No boiling, no fuel wasted, no illness. Priced at just $11.95 for 50 tablets at REI, they've got a 4-year shelf life and kill viruses, bacteria, and protozoa in 4 hours. Longer in cold water, but still effective. Recent REI lab tests confirm they outperform leading brands in sub-freezing conditions. Yes, there's a slight chemical aftertaste, but drop in a pinch of drink mix post-treatment and it's gone. And unlike boiling, you're not burning precious propane or firewood. This is critical because during multi-day outages, every BTU counts. If you're boiling snow just to stay hydrated, you're draining your heat reserves faster than you realize. There's no real budget alternative that works in freezing temps. Boiling requires fuel you may not have. Filters clog or crack in the cold. These tablets? Lightweight, reliable, and ready if you're serious about winter survival. Clean water isn't optional, it's foundational. And with these in your kit, you've got a silent, shelf-stable lifeline that works when nothing else will. Item 5, Soul Escape Light Bivy. Most preppers throw a space blanket in their kit and call it good. Big mistake. Those flimsy mylar sheets tear on contact, offer zero real insulation, and worst of all, trap moisture against your skin, which actually accelerates heat loss and freezing still air. The Soul Escape Light Bivy It's in a different league entirely. This isn't a blanket. It's a fully sewn, durable Mylar sleeping bag liner designed to reflect 90% of your body heat back to you, even in sub-zero conditions. Priced at $29.95 from REI and backed by U.S. Army Natick Labs testing, it adds a verified 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit of warmth when used over a sleeping bag or even just layered blankets. During Texas's February 2024 freeze, one user wrapped it around her elderly father in a powerless home. His core temp never dropped below 96 degrees Fahrenheit for 36 hours. That's not luck, that's physics. It weighs just 4.6 ounces, packs smaller than a water bottle, and survives 20 plus uses if you roll it gently. Never fold, it causes micro tears. With a 4.7 out of 5 rating from over 1,100 REI reviewers in 2025, the only complaint? It crinkles loudly, but honestly, who cares when you're staying alive? And unlike disposable blankets, this one lasts for years. Here's the thing, hypothermia doesn't care how prepared you think you are. It only cares if you can trap heat. This bivy does that silently, reliably, and for less than $30. If your winter kit still relies on dollar store Mylar, you're gambling with your life. This is thermal insurance you can count on. Item 6, Hydropack Seeker. 4-liter collapsible water container. Plastic cracks, glass shatters, and suddenly your precious melted snow is all over the floor and your supply is gone. That's why the Hydropack Seeker 4-liter isn't just smart, it's essential. Made from flexible food-grade silicone, it expands when water freezes instead of bursting. Tested down to minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit through 10 plus freeze-thaw cycles, it's the only container I trust in extreme cold. Priced at $24.95 from REI and rated 4.8 out of 5 by over 2,300 users in 2025, it holds 4 liters, just over a gallon, weighs only. One user in Montana left it in his truck overnight at minus 5 degrees Fahrenheit, came back to solid ice inside, 0 damage outside. Fill it only 3/4 full to allow room for expansion, and always rinse with vinegar monthly to prevent biofilm. Pro tip, partially freeze it in summer. It doubles as a cold pack. Why does this matter? Because during a multi-day outage, every drop counts. Losing water to a cracked container isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. And with FEMA reporting increased rural water shortages in October 2024, your ability to store and protect melted snow could be the difference between hydration and crisis. This isn't just a water bottle, it's a freeze-proof lifeline. And at under $25, it's one of the highest value, lowest risk items you'll ever buy. Item 7, UCO Stormproof matches your Bic lighter, useless below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, because butane freezes solid. And in a winter blackout, if you can't start a fire, you can't cook, boil water, or stay warm, that's where UCO Stormproof matches save the day. These aren't ordinary matches. They lighten rain, snow, and 80-mile-per-hour winds, burn for 15 seconds each, and get this? Relight even after being submerged in water for 10 seconds. Priced at just $6.99 for a 25-match kit on Amazon, they work down to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, according to UCO's 2024 lab tests. Field and Stream called them the most reliable ignition source in extreme cold in their December 2024 gear review. With a near-perfect 4.9 out of 5 from over 4,200 users, the only knock? The case is a little bulky, but that's what keeps them dry and strike-ready. Use them to ignite wet tinder, restart a dying stove, or light your catalytic heater when electronics fail. Keep the kit in your outer coat pocket, always accessible, never frozen. And here's a pro move. Dip the tips in melted candle wax for extra water resistance and longer burn time. There's no budget alternative that performs like this in real winter conditions. Lighters fail. Ferro rods struggle with cold, wet hands. But these? They just work. In a world where fire equals survival, reliable ignition isn't optional, it's non-negotiable. Don't leave home, your bug-out bag, or your winter kit without them. Item 8, BioLite Base, charge 1,500 power station generators, are loud, fuel-hungry, and useless indoors. But if you've got medical devices, communication gear, or even just a need to keep phones charged during a winter blackout, silence and safety matter. Enter the BioLite Base Charge 1500, a Life PO4 powered station that runs for days, recharges via solar, and won't catch fire like older lithium-ion units. priced between $1,199 to $1,399, down 10% from $1,199 to $1,399. 2023, it stores 1,521 watt hours, enough to power a CPAP machine for 12 plus hours, LED lights for 100 plus hours, or charge a phone 100 times. Most importantly, its lithium iron phosphate battery lasts 3,000 plus cycles, not just 500 like standard units. One family in upstate New York used it to keep insulin refrigerated and their ham radio alive during a 5-day January 2025 outage. Available at reiandbiolight.com, it's heavy at 35 pounds, but that's the trade for safety and longevity. Pair it with BioLight's 100-watt solar panel, and you've got a renewable power loop. Yes, it's an investment, but compare it to the $3,000 plus cost of replacing spoiled medication or losing contact during a crisis. This isn't luxury, it's lifeline infrastructure. And with grid instability up 14% in 2024, EIA, reliable off-grid power isn't nice to have. It's critical. Item 9, Night Eyes Radiant Rechargeable Lantern. When the lights go out in winter, darkness isn't just inconvenient, it's disorienting, dangerous, and draining. But most lanterns die fast, use rare batteries, or emit harsh, cold light that makes a freezing room feel even colder. The Night Eyes Radiant, it's different. With USB-C recharge, 120 lumens of warm, adjustable light, and a 72-hour runtime on low, it's built for real winter blackouts, not just camping trips. Priced at $24.99 from REI and tested in minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit conditions in 2024, it features a frosted globe that diffuses light evenly, no harsh glare, just calm, usable illumination. Hang it in the center of your warm room, and it creates a sense of safety without sucking heat from your space like bright LEDs can. It's also rugged, water-resistant, drop-tested, and compatible with standard power banks. One user in Colorado used it for 4 nights straight during a December 2024 storm, charged once via a car battery, lasted the entire outage. With a 4.7 out of 5 rating from REI reviewers in 2025, it's praised for reliability, not gimmicks. No proprietary batteries, no flickering. Here's why this matters. In prolonged darkness, mental fatigue sets in fast. A soft, steady light source reduces stress, helps kids sleep, and lets you move safely at night. At under $25, it's not just a lantern, it's psychological armor. And in survival, morale is half the battle. Item 10, Esbit Solid Fuel. Tablets propane runs out, firewood gets wet, but Esbit Solid Fuel tablets, they work in snow, wind, rain, and sub-zero temps. No lighter fluid, no pump, no failure points. Each tablet burns for 12 to 15 minutes at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, boiling 2 cups of water in just 8 minutes. Even at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, according to Backpacker Magazine's 2024 winter gear test. Priced at $12.99 for 24 tablets, they're odorless, non-toxic, and stable for decades. Store them in a waterproof tin, and they're always ready. During a January 2025 ice storm in Kentucky, a prepper used 3 tablets to cook oatmeal and sterilize bandages when his wood stove chimney iced over. Unlike alcohol stoves or butane canisters, Esbit doesn't freeze, leak, or require special tools. Just place a tablet in a folding stove or even a tuna can, light it with a stormproof match, and go. Yes, they leave a slight residue, but it wipes off easily. And compared to the risk of going cold and hungry when your primary heat fails, that's a non-issue, and this is fuel insurance, lightweight, reliable, and immune to winter's worst tricks. If your emergency cooking plan depends only on wood or gas, you've got a single point of failure. Add Esbit tablets, and you've got a silent, shelf-stable backup that works when nothing else will. In winter survival, redundancy isn't paranoia, it's prudence. Item 11. Smart Wool PhD Outdoor Heavy Cushion Socks. You might not think socks belong on a winter outage survival list, but let me tell you, they absolutely do. When indoor temps drop below 50 degrees Fahrenheit for days, your extremities are the first to suffer. And if you're wearing cotton or even standard synthetics, you're setting yourself up for cold stress, poor sleep, and even frost nip. That's where Smart Wool PhD Outdoor Heavy Cushion Socks change the game. Made from 100% merino wool, they don't just insulate, they actively regulate temperature and wick moisture even when wet, unlike cotton, which retains dampness, or polyester, which offers minimal warmth when damp. Priced at $26 a pair and rigorously tested by Smartwool's lab in 2024, these socks deliver 40% more warmth than synthetic alternatives in humid or damp conditions, critical when condensation builds in unheated rooms. During a February 2025 outage in northern Wisconsin, one prepper wore them under Mauklux indoors and reported toes stayed warm while the floor was 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Merino wool also resists odor, so you can wear them for days without washing, key when water is scarce. With reinforced heels and arch support, they're built for movement, not just lounging. Yes, they cost more than bargain bin socks, but consider this. Hypothermia often starts in the feet. Keeping your core warm means nothing if your circulation is compromised by icy extremities. There's no true budget alternative that performs in real cold. Fleece liners compress and lose loft. Cotton? Dangerous. These socks are a small investment with massive thermal payoff. Wear them to bed, layer them under boots if you must go outside, keep a spare pair sealed in your kit. In winter survival, warmth isn't just about your torso, it's systemic. And your feet? They're ground zero. Don't overlook them. Item 12. Gerber Gear Folding Spork Plus Knife Set. In a winter power outage, you'll need to eat hot, calorie-dense meals to maintain core body heat. But if you're using plastic utensils, you're risking cracks, snaps, or worse, chemical leaching when exposed to hot broth or soup. That's why the Gerber Gear Folding Spork Plus Knife Set is a quiet hero in cold weather prep. Made from stainless steel, it won't shatter in sub-zero temps like plastic, won't warp like cheap alloys, and folds compactly for storage. Priced at just $14.99, it survived Gerber's minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit drop test in 2024 with zero brittleness or failure. One user in Alaska used it daily during a 6-day January blackout to eat stew, cut dried meat, and even pry open canned goods when his can opener froze shut. It's lightweight, under 2 ounces, includes a bottle opener, and locks securely in both open and closed positions. Unlike titanium or aluminum alternatives, stainless steel won't react with acidic foods, and it's dishwasher safe when power returns. Plastic sporks? They become brittle below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I've seen them snap mid-bite. Not only is that frustrating, it's a waste of precious calories when you drop half your meal. This isn't about convenience, it's about reliability. When every meal counts, your utensils shouldn't be a weak link. Keep the set in your kitchen drawer and your emergency bin. At under $15, it's one of the most overlooked yet essential tools for dignified, efficient eating in crisis. Item 13, Damp Rid Refillable Moisture Absorber. Here's a silent winter killer most preppers ignore: indoor humidity. When you seal off a warm room to conserve heat, moisture from breathing, cooking, and melting snow builds up fast. That condensation coats windows, drips on walls, and breeds mold, triggering respiratory issues, especially in kids and elders. Enter Damp Rid Refillable Moisture Absorber. It's not glamorous, but it's critical. Priced at $8.99 for the container plus 6 refills, this calcium chloride-based system pulls excess moisture from the air passively. No power, no noise, according to a 2024 EPA indoor air quality study. Using moisture absorbers in enclosed spaces during outages reduces mold risk by 70% and improves perceived air quality dramatically. During a 72-hour outage in Ohio last January, one family placed 2 units in their sealed bedroom and woke to dry walls, not dripping windows. Their kids didn't wake coughing. That's not luck. That's environmental control. Refills last 45 to 60 days, and the container is reusable for years. Just empty the collected liquid, it's non-toxic, and drop in a new puck. Most survival kits focus on heat and water, but neglect air quality. Yet in prolonged blackouts, poor indoor air can degrade health faster than cold alone. Damp Rid costs less than a pizza, takes zero effort, and works 24/7. This is passive preventative care at its best. And in a world where respiratory health is fragile, clean, dry air isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Item 14, Weber Charcoal Chimney Starter. You've got a fireplace or wood stove. Great, but what if your kindling is damp, or the draft is weak, or you're trying to cook indoors safely without lighter fluid fumes? That's where the Weber charcoal chimney starter becomes your secret weapon. No lighter fluid, no electricity, just newspaper, charcoal, and physics, priced at $22.99 and available everywhere from Home Depot to Walmart. This simple steel cylinder uses convection to ignite charcoal in just 15 minutes, even at 10 degrees Fahrenheit per Weber's 2024 cold weather test. One prepper in Maine used it during January's ice storm to light lump charcoal for cooking stew on his fireplace grate. No toxic fumes, no failed ignition. It's made of heavy gauge steel, so it won't warp or rust quickly. And because it creates consistent hot coals, you get reliable, controllable heat for cooking or supplemental warmth. Most people overlook this because they assume I'll just use firewood, but wetwood smolders. It fills your home with smoke. Charcoal, lit cleanly via chimney, burns hotter, cleaner, and longer. Keep a bag of charcoal and a few old newspapers in a dry bin. When the power fails and your propane runs low, this $23 tool lets you cook hot meals safely indoors without risking carbon monoxide from improper combustion. This isn't just for grilling, it's a fuel-efficient, fail-safe ignition system for real emergencies. And in winter survival, the ability to cook without electricity or gas, that's priceless. Item 15, Thermos Stainless King 1.8-liter beverage bottle. Staying hydrated in winter isn't just about water, it's about warmth. Cold liquids force your body to burn extra calories just to maintain core temperature. That's why the Thermos Stainless King 1.8-liter is a force multiplier in any winter outage kit. This isn't a basic thermos, it's a vacuum-insulated fortress that keeps liquids scalding hot for 24-plus hours, 198 degrees Fahrenheit after a full day, according to Thermos's 2024 lab report. Priced at $39.99, it holds nearly half a gallon. Enough hot broth, tea, or cocoa for a family of 4 over 12 hours. During a February 2025 outage in Minnesota, one user filled it with beef bone broth at 6 a.m. By bedtime, it was still hot enough to steam, providing hydration, calories, and comfort without reboiling. Its stainless steel body won't crack in the cold like glass-lined models. The wide mouth fits ice cubes for summer, but also makes cleaning easy. And the leak-proof lid means you can store it on its side in a cramped space. Most people underestimate how much energy you lose sipping cold water in freezing temps. Hot fluids equals passive internal heating. Every sip is a micro-warming event. Yes, you could reheat water constantly, but that burns fuel you may not have. This bottle eliminates that need. It's reusable, indestructible, and pays for itself in saved propane alone. Keep it filled with hot liquid before a storm hits. Your body and your fuel reserves will thank you. In winter survival, heat isn't just external, sometimes it starts from within. Item 16, Leatherman Signal Multi-Tool. In a winter power outage, your gear is only as good as your ability to repair, adapt, and signal for help. And that's where the Leatherman Signal earns its place. This isn't just another pocket knife, it's a purpose-built survival multi-tool with features most preppers overlook until it's too late. A ferrocerium rod that works at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, a loud survival whistle, a hammer pommel for breaking ice or glass, and even a carbide glass breaker. Priced at $119.99, it's built from stainless steel and backed by Leatherman's 25-year warranty. During a December 2024 snowstorm in Montana, a hiker trapped in his disabled truck used the ferro rod to ignite tinder when his lighter failed, and the whistle to alert rescuers a quarter-mile away. That's not hypothetical, that's documented. Unlike generic multi-tools, the Signal includes only mission-critical tools: pliers, wire cutters, saw, screwdrivers, and a sharp 2.7-inch blade, all lockable for safety. The ferro rod, tested in 2024 to produce 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit sparks even with wet or gloved hands. And the whistle, 100-plus decibels, audible through wind and snow. Yes, it's heavier than a Swiss Army knife, but in winter, redundancy and reliability beat minimalism. You might need to splice a wire, cut paracord, hammer a tent stake into frozen ground, or start a fire when everything else fails. Most preppers carry a basic knife and call it good, but when conditions turn extreme, versatility saves lives. Keep the Signal in your winter go bag, glove compartment, or bedside drawer. At $120, it's not cheap, but compared to the cost of being stranded, injured, or unable to fix critical gear, it's priceless. This tool doesn't just solve problems, it prevents disasters. Item 17, Cliff Builders protein bars, peanut butter. When the temperature drops and your power's out, your body burns extra calories just to stay warm, up to 30% more according to cold stress studies. That means your emergency food can't just be carbs and sugar. You need dense, sustained energy. Enter Cliff Builder's protein bars, specifically the peanut butter flavor. With 20 grams of protein, 280 calories, and 9 grams of fat, they're engineered to fuel metabolic heat production, not just fill your stomach. Priced at about $1.50 per bar, or less in bulk at Costco, they have a 12-month shelf life and won't freeze solid like gels or bars with high water content. During a 4-day outage in upstate New York in January 2025, one family ate 1 bar per person every 4 to 5 hours and reported stable energy, no shivering spikes, and better sleep. They're also compact, require no prep, and taste like dessert, a morale boost when morale is low. Most emergency food kits are loaded with crackers, candy, or MRES, but miss the metabolic reality of cold exposure. Your body doesn't need quick sugar, it needs fat and protein to generate internal heat. Store a 24-count box in your pantry and your emergency bin, rotate every 10 months, and yes, peanut butter is the best flavor for cold weather. Highest fat content, most palatable when chilled. This isn't just a snack. It's metabolic insurance, and at under $2 a bar, it's one of the smartest, simplest ways to stay strong when the cold bites deep. Item 18, Yeti Rambler 20-ounce tumbler. You've got hot broth, you've got tea, but if you're pouring it into a thin-walled mug, or worse, a plastic cup, you're losing heat fast and risking burns when handling it near kids or in the dark. That's why the Yeti Rambler 20-ounce tumbler is a quiet powerhouse in winter outage prep. Its double-wall vacuum insulation keeps drinks at 140 degrees Fahrenheit for over 6 hours, even in a 40 degrees Fahrenheit room, according to Yeti's 2024 Thermal Lab report. Priced at $30, it's overbuilt on purpose. 18/8 stainless steel, Duracoat color that won't chip, and a mag slider lid that's leak-resistant, not fully sealed, but secure enough for indoor use. But the real advantage, safety. The exterior stays cool to the touch, even with boiling liquid inside. No more scalded hands or spilled drinks in dim light. For families with kids, that's non-negotiable. Yes, it's heavier than a travel mug, but durability matters when you're refilling it daily for a week straight. And unlike ceramic mugs, it won't shatter if dropped on a frozen floor. Most people overlook drinkware in their kits, but in survival, small comforts compound. A hot drink equals warmth, hydration, and psychological relief. This tumbler maximizes all three without draining your resources. Keep 1 per person in your warm room. Pre-fill before a storm hits. It's not luxury, it's thermal efficiency you can hold in your hands. Item 19, Goal Zero Lighthouse 400 lantern plus USB charger. When your power bank dies and your solar panels are buried under snow, what's your backup? The Goal Zero Lighthouse 400 doesn't just give you light, it gives you human-powered energy independence. With a built-in hand crank, it delivers 1 minute of cranking equals 10 minutes of light or a 5% phone charge. No sun, no grid, no problem. Priced at $79.95, it also includes a 4,800 milliamp hour battery, USB-A output, and 400 lumen LED with dimming modes. During a 5-day outage in rural Vermont in January 2025, one family used the crank to keep their emergency radio powered and their kids' tablets charged enough for ebooks, preserving sanity as much as safety. It's water-resistant, drop-tested, and includes a red nightlight mode to preserve night vision. Goal Zero's 2024 field tests confirmed it functions reliably down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Most lanterns assume you'll have solar or wall power to recharge, but in prolonged winter blackouts, those options vanish. This unit doesn't care. You provide the power, literally. Yes, cranking takes effort, but 60 seconds gives you enough light to cook, read, or comfort a child. And in a world where communication equals safety, that USB port could let you send one last text when cell towers are overloaded. This isn't just a lantern, it's a declaration, I am not powerless. And in true emergencies, that mindset and this tool can change everything. Item 20, Fox 40, classic emergency whistle. In a winter blackout, if you fall, get trapped, or need help, yelling won't cut it. Cold air saps your lung capacity, snow muffles sound, and after 10 minutes of shouting, you're exhausted and no one's heard you. That's why the Fox 40 Classic whistle belongs on every keychain, pack, and bedside table. It produces a 120 decibel shriek, audible up to 1 mile away, with zero effort, even with frozen or injured hands. Priced at just $8.99, it has no pee, so it won't freeze, jam, or fail in wet conditions. Used by police, military, and search and rescue teams worldwide, it saved lives in avalanches, building collapses, and ice storms. During a January 2024 incident in Idaho, a man buried under snow used his Fox 40 to alert rescuers after his phone died. Heard through 3 feet of powder, it's lightweight, 0.7 ounces, fits in a pocket, and lasts a lifetime. No batteries, no moving parts, just pure piercing sound on demand. Most preppers skip whistles, assuming I'll just call for help. But in real emergencies, your voice fails before your will does. This whistle doesn't. Attach it to your winter coat zipper. Teach your kids the 3 blasts equals distress signal. In darkness, cold, or isolation, it turns your breath into a lifeline. At under $10, it's the cheapest, most reliable way to ensure you're never truly alone. Because when seconds count, silence is the enemy and sound is salvation. Now, let's talk about 2 game changers most preppers miss. First, thermal zoning. Instead of trying to heat your whole house during a winter blackout, shrink your world. Use a heavy-duty tarp, bookshelves, or even curtains to seal off a single room, ideally one with minimal windows like a bedroom or closet. FEMA's 2024 Winter Preparedness Guide confirms heating a 10 by 10 warm room is up to 10 times more efficient than heating your entire home. That means your catalytic heater, body heat, and thermal pads actually work instead of vanishing into cold, empty hallways. One family in Maine kept their core space at 63 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 days using just one Mr. Heater because they zoned smart. But here's what not to do. Never ever burn furniture, plywood, or treated wood indoors. I've seen preppers do it in desperation. Big mistake. Those materials release cyanide, formaldehyde, and other deadly gases when burned, especially in enclosed spaces. You might stay warm for an hour and end up in the hospital, or worse. The better approach? Only burn dry, untreated hardwood like oak or maple, or use certified fuel bricks like Envirolog. They're clean, consistent, and safe for indoor stoves or fireplaces. Remember, survival isn't just about generating heat. It's about trapping it wisely and avoiding silent killers. Do this right, and your limited resources last days longer. All right, let's wrap this up with the 3 items that shocked even me. Number 1, wool dryer balls. Yeah, the ones from the laundry aisle. Used as thermal mass, they outperform rocks, cost almost nothing, and last for years. Number 2, phase change thermal pads. Reusable, rechargeable, work down to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and they kept insulin warm during real outages. And number 3, iodine-free water tabs that actually work in freezing temps. Because clean water isn't a summer problem, it's your number 1 winter threat. So here are your top 3 takeaways. First, heat retention beats heat generation every time. Trap what you've got. Second, your biggest danger isn't just the cold. It's unsafe water from melted snow. Third, reusable gear saves money, space, and sanity when outages stretch for days. And this matters right now. NOAA just updated its forecast. 70% of the U.S. is facing above average snow and ice this winter. Don't wait for the first blackout to find out your kit fails. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 20 items surprised you most? Drop it in the comments and share your own winter outage hack while you're at it. If you've got a friend who lives off-grid in the mountains or anywhere storms hit hard, tag them. Seriously, they'll thank you later. If this saved you from wasting $100 on gear that won't work when it counts, hit like. That tells YouTube this kind of prep matters. Comment your biggest winter fear. Frozen pipes, no heat. I read every reply and I'll send you a tip. And save this video, because outages don't warn you twice. But you'll be ready.